Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew from travelingguitarist.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about playing over backing tracks, playing guitar with backing tracks, how to do it, where to find them, how to figure out the song's key, and so on and so forth. Right away, we're just going to jump into it. I'm going to give you the step-by-step process for going about it. So you want to choose your backing track. You want to figure out the song's key. This is optional, but you can figure out the tempo of the song just to guide you and how everything kind of sounds. It's not really needed though. Understand what chords are in the song and then know what scales and arpeggios work with the track. So that sounds like a lot, but really it's not. For the backing tracks, you can go to a few places. Like you can go on YouTube, you can go and find elevated backing tracks. He has a lot. Tom Bailey has some. Jam Track Central is another great one. I mean, if you just type in backing track in YouTube, you're going to find a ton of them. Usually they offer the key signature as well. And you can what you can also do is use Spotify playlists. I use it all the time. I use the Rap Caviar one. I find that it's pretty cool. It's fun to jam over. Rap songs are I've said this in other videos, but they're pretty simple. Usually the chord progressions are very simple. And you can figure it out. You can figure out the song's key and all the chords and the scales and all that good stuff. Another thing that you can do is you can make your own backing tracks. What I like to do is you could just use GarageBand and use the drummer track. You just play whatever chord progression you want, and then you just throw in a drummer track with the song and, play it on tempo, and then you got something to jam over right there. In terms of figuring out the song's key, I've already talked about this at length in other videos, so I'm not going to dive into, figuring out the song's key. You can just click on the link in the other article, click on the link in the article and check out the video that I did. So I mean, once you, and the one thing about it is that when you use backing tracks from other people, you're gonna, there's usually going to be the key signature and the tempo that comes with it as well, so you don't have to worry about figuring it out. However, I kind of like to figure it out. I find that it's good to practice figuring out where the tonal center of someone else's playing is. So I enjoy figuring it out on my own and just like kind of coming up with the scales and arpeggios and the chords that go with it. I find it's really good practice. And I mean, once you figure out the key signature of the song, that's when you can figure out the chords of the song, right? So, I mean, that's where a little bit of music theory comes in handy. It's really not too sophisticated. Anytime you say music theory, people kind of freak out, but it's really not that big of a deal. Like, you just have to memorize the order of the major chords and the minor chords. So, for instance, in the chords of the major scale, you got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, half diminished, and then minor. In the minor scale, it's minor, half diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major, dominant seventh. And I have this all written out here for you. So, I mean, and then once you know that, you can kind of just think of, each chord as well. You know what chords go with the song too. So, in the key of B flat major, you have B flat major, C minor, D minor, E flat major, F7, G minor, and then A minor 7 flat 5. And then once you know that, I mean, right away you have all those scales, you have all those modes, I guess, modal shapes really. And then, you have the arpeggios that go with it too, so you... A, and then A half diminished. So I mean, you just have to kind of memorize these things, these shapes and these ideas, and then you can kind of just apply them to whatever that you're playing over. So I mean, like, now that we know that, we can just use an example, right? Like, here's the song that I made a while back. So I know that the song is in the key of C minor because I've used it before. So I mean, what you can do is you just kind of, you just play that. For instance, you can play the C minor with it. So like what I just did there is I just played this scale. And then you know, you can play the E flat major with that. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, as long as you, like, you just have to think of, really the big thing is you just figure out the key of the song, honestly. Like, once you know the key of the song, like, there's so much that you can do with it just by doing a quick Google search. You can just say, like, oh, the song's in C minor, so what's the C minor scale? Okay, well, what's the C blues scale? It's like, well, that'll work with it. Or, and then that's on the 8th fret, so you can also play it, you know, you know, so it's really, that's about it, really. You know, it's not too sophisticated to figure out how to do this stuff. What else should I say here? And yeah, I mean, you just have to practice every day. That's the big thing. You just practice. It's you know, what I like to do is I just put on Spotify or whatever, or I just jam over a song that, you know, I like at the moment, and you kind of just get a feel for it. You know, after a while, like once you can figure out a key easily, you know, it's easy to continue practicing and getting better at it. If you want to know how, like, the best way to kind of have a lot to play with and have a lot to work with, I recommend checking out my song or my article, How to Play Guitar to Any Song in Any Key. In that article, I feel like I did a good job of explaining how I learned how to do it anyway. You know, I'm not the best player in the world, but now I feel pretty comfortable just kind of jamming with pretty much any song. And so I just kind of explained how I did it. It took me a while to kind of figure it out. I actually figured it out by accident because I found that the other tutorials online didn't really help me for whatever reason. But yeah, that's all for this video. I'll put the link in the description, and then you can check that out if you want. But anyway, yeah, subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and then I'll see you in the next one. Okay?